Embarrassed leaks aren't normal aging. They're caused by these 6 habits. Stop them, and you can regain full control. The last one, it's what most doctors forget to mention: emptying wrong. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. How often do you find yourself rushing to the toilet, hovering, or pushing to get everything out as fast as possible? It's a common, almost instinctual response when you feel that urgent need. But this seemingly innocuous habit, this power P or just-in-case approach, is actually one of the biggest sabotaging actions you can take against your bladder health. It's like repeatedly hitting the snooze button on an alarm that isn't quite ready to go off, eventually throwing your entire internal clock out of whack. When you rush, push, or strain to empty your bladder, you're not allowing your pelvic floor muscles to fully relax. These muscles are designed to contract to hold urine in and then fully release to allow for complete emptying. Think of it like a finely tuned instrument. If you're always forcing the notes, you'll eventually damage the strings. Over time, this constant pushing weakens the muscles, makes them less coordinated, and can lead to incomplete bladder emptying. And an incompletely emptied bladder, that's a breeding ground for bacteria, urinary tract infections, and a constant feeling of needing to go, even when you've just been. You're essentially telling your bladder, you don't need to do your job fully, and it listens, getting lazier with each forced void. Beyond the physical strain, there's a psychological component. Many women develop what's called o'clock bladder, or key in the door syndrome. You've trained your bladder to expect to empty at certain times or upon hearing specific triggers, even if it's not truly full. This leads to a smaller functional bladder capacity. Instead of holding what it's capable of, your bladder sends urgent signals at smaller volumes, creating a vicious cycle of fear, urgency, and frequent bathroom trips. It's a common modern anxiety, this constant background hum of where's the nearest toilet that subtly dictates your day. The secret to breaking this cycle lies in mindful, complete emptying. When you feel the urge, acknowledge it, but don't panic. Take a few deep breaths. Once you're on the toilet, sit comfortably, leaning slightly forward, with your feet flat on the floor or on a small stool. This simple posture change helps align your bladder and urethra, making emptying easier. Relax your pelvic floor. Don't push or strain. Allow your bladder to empty naturally. You might even find it helpful to wait a few seconds, then try to empty again. A technique called double voiding. This ensures that any residual urine is released, significantly reducing the risk of UTIs and extending the time between bathroom visits. It's a small shift, but it retrains your bladder and your brain, empowering you with control you thought was lost. This isn't just about physical mechanics, it's about reclaiming a sense of calm and control over a fundamental bodily function. In holding back. This habit is a subtle saboteur, often born from a good intention, trying to avoid a leak. You feel the urge, but you're in the middle of something important, or you're out with friends, or you're just trying to hold it for a bit longer. So you clench. You squeeze your pelvic floor, often without even realizing it, resisting the natural signals your bladder is sending. What you think is helping is actually actively harming your bladder's ability to function optimally. It's like perpetually driving with your foot on the brake. Eventually, something's going to wear out, and your engine, your bladder, is going to struggle. When you constantly resist the urge, you're sending mixed signals to your brain and your bladder muscles. Your bladder has stretch receptors that tell your brain when it's getting full. Holding back repeatedly dulls these signals, meaning your bladder might not properly communicate its fullness until it's critically distended. More often, however, it does the opposite. It becomes hypersensitive. It starts signaling urgency at much lower volumes because it's been taught to expect constant resistance. This constant clenching also overtires your pelvic floor muscles, leading to hypertonicity, meaning they become too tight. Tight muscles aren't strong muscles. They're rigid and less effective at supporting your bladder or relaxing when it's time to void. Think about a balloon. If you constantly squeeze it, trying to prevent it from expanding, it will eventually lose its elasticity and won't be able to hold as much air as it once could, or it might just burst at an unexpected moment. Your bladder, while more resilient, follows a similar principle. It needs to expand and contract naturally. Constantly trying to hold it in with excessive clenching can lead to what's known as an overactive bladder, where the bladder muscles contract involuntarily, causing sudden, intense urges and often leading to accidents. It's a cruel irony. The very act meant to prevent leaks can actually cause them. This is where the emotional toll becomes clear. The constant anticipation, the fear of an accident, it builds a cage around your spontaneity. The solution isn't to never hold it, but to learn to respond to your bladder's signals appropriately. This is where bladder training comes in. Instead of clenching and resisting, gently acknowledge the urge. Then practice a quick flick Kegel. Gently lift your pelvic floor muscles for a few seconds, then fully release. This can help quiet the urge momentarily. Then distract yourself for a few minutes. Try to extend the time between voids by 10 to 15 minutes, gradually increasing it over several weeks. Your goal isn't to hold until you burst, but to gently retrain your bladder to hold a healthy volume. Around 2 to 3 hours between voids is a good start, without panic. This empowers your bladder to regain its natural rhythm and teaches your brain to trust its signals again. It's a dance of listening and responding rather than resisting and reacting. This shift can fundamentally change your relationship with your bladder, transforming anxiety into awareness. Caffeine craze. For many of us, that morning cup of coffee or an afternoon tea is more than just a beverage. It's a ritual, a comfort, a kickstart. But what if this daily ritual is stealthily contributing to your bladder woes? Many women, especially as they get older, find that their favorite caffeinated drinks, coffee, tea, sodas, are actually potent bladder irritants, often unbeknownst to them. This isn't about demonizing your beloved brew, but rather understanding its physiological impact and how it can exacerbate those urgent, leak-prone moments. It's a modern dilemma. The social glue of coffee breaks often comes with a hidden cost for your bladder. Caffeine is a diuretic, meaning it increases urine production. It also directly stimulates the bladder muscle, causing it to contract more frequently and forcefully. Imagine your bladder as a sensitive drum. Every sip of caffeine is like a little tap, encouraging it to beat faster and harder, leading to those sudden, intense urges to urinate, even when your bladder isn't truly full. It's like constantly poking a sleeping bear. Eventually, it's going to wake up grumpy and overreact. For women already dealing with an aging bladder or weakened pelvic floor, this irritation can be the tipping point, turning a mild urge into a full-blown emergency. It's not just caffeine either. Highly acidic foods and drinks, citrus fruits, tomatoes, spicy foods, artificial sweeteners, carbonated beverages can have a similar effect. They irritate the bladder lining, triggering those same unwanted contractions and heightened urgency. You might be meticulously avoiding certain activities, unaware that your dietary choices are silently undermining your efforts. This often overlooked connection between diet and bladder health is a crucial piece of the puzzle, a secret weapon in your battle for control. Many women dismiss these symptoms as just part of getting older, when in fact, they're often a direct consequence of what we consume. The actionable insight here is not necessarily to eliminate all caffeine, but to become an astute observer of your own body. Start by keeping a bladder diary for a few days, noting what you eat and drink, and when you experience urgency or leaks. You might discover a direct correlation. Once you identify your triggers, you can strategically reduce or modify your intake. Consider switching to decaffeinated coffee or herbal teas. Dilute fruit juices with water. Opt for still water over carbonated drinks. Instead of a large, strong coffee first thing in the morning, try having it after you've had a glass of water and some food. The goal is moderation and awareness. Small changes can lead to significant improvements, calming that overactive bladder and allowing you to enjoy your daily rituals without the constant fear of a sudden rush. This isn't about deprivation, but about intelligent substitution, giving your bladder a much-needed break from the constant assault. Sebes, ignoring core. When we talk about bladder control, most people immediately think of Kegels. And while Kegels are important, focusing solely on them while neglecting your entire core is like trying to build a house on quicksand. Your pelvic floor muscles are an integral part of your deep core system, a complex network of muscles that work together to stabilize your trunk, support your organs, and maintain continence. Ignoring this holistic connection, or worse, performing Kegels incorrectly is a monumental oversight that perpetuates bladder control issues. It's a fundamental structural flaw many women overlook, and it keeps them trapped in a cycle of weakness and frustration. Imagine your core as a cylinder with your diaphragm at the top, your pelvic floor at the bottom, and your abdominal muscles wrapping around the sides. When this system is balanced and strong, it creates healthy intra-abdominal pressure that supports your bladder and other pelvic organs. However, many women, especially after childbirth, menopause, or with a history of back pain, have a dysfunctional core. This can manifest as weak abdominal muscles, mom pooch or diastasis recti, shallow breathing patterns, or an uncoordinated pelvic floor. If your core canister isn't firing correctly, your pelvic floor is left to do all the heavy lifting, and it simply isn't designed to work in isolation. It's like asking a single small pillar to hold up an entire roof. It's bound to crumble under the pressure. Furthermore, many women either don't do Kegels or do them incorrectly. A true Kegel isn't just clenching your glutes or inner thighs. It's an inward and upward lift of the muscles that stop the flow of urine and prevent gas. It requires both strength and, crucially, the ability to relax fully afterward. An over-tight, constantly clenched pelvic floor is just as problematic as a weak one. It can lead to pain, difficulty emptying the bladder, and even increased urgency. This incorrect engagement or lack of holistic core training leaves a massive gap in any strategy to improve bladder control, making even the best intentions fall short. It's a key anatomical insight that changes everything about how you approach your physical well-being. The actionable insight here is to adopt a comprehensive approach to core strength that integrates proper pelvic floor engagement. This isn't about crunches, which can actually exacerbate pressure on the pelvic floor. Instead, focus on deep core activation exercises that synchronize your breath with your pelvic floor. Think Pilates, specific yoga poses, or working with a pelvic floor physical therapist. They can teach you how to properly engage your deep core, including your transverse abdominis, multifidus, diaphragm, and yes, your pelvic floor in a coordinated, functional way. Learning to engage these muscles before you cough, sneeze, or lift something heavy, the neck technique, can provide crucial support and prevent leaks. This holistic strength training supports your bladder from all sides, restoring not just continence, but overall stability and confidence in your body's capabilities. This knowledge alone can unlock a profound sense of physical empowerment, truly changing the game. Debunked dehydration trap. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? If you're struggling with bladder control, the immediate thought might be to drink less water to reduce bathroom trips. This, my friends, is one of the most common and damaging traps many senior women fall into. It's a habit born of fear, but it actually creates a cascading series of problems that intensify rather than alleviate your bladder issues. You're effectively shooting yourself in the foot, believing you're solving the problem when you're actually creating new, more severe ones. This mistaken belief is a pervasive myth that needs to be shattered. When you restrict your fluid intake, your urine becomes much more concentrated. Think of it like a very strong undiluted cleaner. This highly concentrated urine acts as a potent irritant to your bladder lining, just like pouring harsh chemicals onto a sensitive surface. Concentrated urine can inflame the bladder wall, triggering more frequent, more urgent, and more intense bladder contractions. This leads to that feeling of needing to go all the time, even though your bladder isn't actually very full. It's a biological reaction that directly contradicts the desired outcome, a cruel twist of physiology. The constant irritation makes your bladder hypersensitive, sending false alarms to your brain, making you feel like you have less control than ever. Beyond the irritation, chronic dehydration can lead to a host of other health issues, including constipation, which we'll get to in a moment, fatigue, dizziness, and even an increased risk of urinary tract infections. UTIs themselves are notorious for causing sudden, severe urgency and incontinence, creating another negative feedback loop where dehydration leads to UTIs, which in turn worsen bladder control. It's a downward spiral that starts with a seemingly logical but ultimately detrimental choice to limit water. This isn't about just an uncomfortable feeling, It's about a fundamental physiological imbalance. The actionable insight is to aim for balanced hydration. This doesn't mean chugging gallons of water right before bed, which can indeed lead to nighttime waking. It means consistently sipping water throughout the day. A good general guideline is around 6 to 8 glasses or 2 liters of plain water daily, but listen to your body and your doctor's advice. If your urine is dark yellow, you're likely dehydrated. Aim for a pale straw color. If you're worried about nighttime trips, try to front-load your fluid intake earlier in the day, gradually tapering off a couple of hours before bedtime. This allows your body to process the fluids without overwhelming your bladder right before you sleep. Small, frequent sips are better than large gulps, as they allow your body to absorb the water more efficiently. By embracing proper hydration, you soothe your bladder, reduce irritation, and help your body function optimally, taking a significant step towards regaining real control. It's a simple, yet profoundly effective daily habit. Bart's bad timing. This habit is a sneaky one, often deeply ingrained from childhood, and it involves the timing and frequency of your bathroom visits. Many of us have been told, "Go before you leave," or "Go just in case." And while these seem like sensible precautions, they can actually be training your bladder to be oversensitive and less efficient. This just in case peeing or going to the bathroom at every opportunity, regardless of true need, fundamentally rewires your bladder's natural signaling system. It's a generational habit passed down, but one that actively works against your long-term bladder health. When you consistently empty your bladder before it's genuinely full, you're essentially teaching it that it doesn't need to hold a healthy volume. Your bladder has stretch receptors that signal to your brain when it reaches a certain capacity. If you're always emptying prematurely, these receptors become hypersensitive, firing off urgency signals even when your bladder is only partially full. This reduces your functional bladder capacity, leading to more frequent trips and a persistent feeling of urgency that isn't truly reflective of your bladder's actual state. It's like constantly checking your email even when you know there are no new messages. You train yourself to expect an update even when none is necessary. The result is a bladder that demands attention far more often than it should. This habit also deprives your bladder of the opportunity to strengthen its holding capacity. Like any muscle, your bladder needs to be gently challenged to maintain its elasticity and strength. If it's never allowed to fill to a healthy capacity, it can lose its ability to stretch effectively, leading to reduced volume and increased pressure sensitivity. This cycle of premature voiding contributes significantly to overactive bladder symptoms, making those unexpected leaks more likely. It fosters a pervasive sense of anticipation, eroding the calm you deserve in your daily life. The actionable insight here is to practice bladder retraining, but with a specific focus on extending the intervals between bathroom visits. Instead of going just in case, try to wait an extra 15-30 minutes when you feel the first urge, provided you can do so comfortably. Use techniques like deep breathing, a quick pelvic floor contraction, a gentle Kegel flick, or mental distraction to help manage the urge. Gradually increase these intervals over several weeks, aiming for 2 to 4 hours between voids during the day. This teaches your bladder to hold a larger, more appropriate volume, and it desensitizes those overactive urgency signals. It's not about holding it until it hurts, but about gently pushing your comfort zone. This process slowly rebuilds your bladder's natural resilience and helps you regain confidence in its ability to function normally. It empowers you to break free from the bathroom leash, giving you back precious hours and peace of mind. Or neglecting bowels. This might seem completely unrelated to wetting your pants, but trust me, the connection between your bowel habits and your bladder control is profound and often overlooked. For many senior women, chronic constipation is a silent adversary, silently exerting pressure on the bladder and exacerbating urinary incontinence. Ignoring your bowel health is like ignoring a leaky roof while trying to fix a dripping faucet. You're missing a major source of the problem. This is a physiological link that few people discuss, yet it's incredibly powerful. Your bladder and your rectum are neighbors in your pelvis, sharing close quarters and even some nerve pathways. When your rectum is full of hard, impacted stool due to constipation, it literally puts physical pressure on your bladder. Imagine a heavy, unmoving mass constantly pressing against the delicate wall of your bladder. This pressure reduces your bladder's capacity, making it feel full faster, and can also irritate the bladder nerves, leading to increased urgency and frequency. It's like trying to navigate a crowded room with an enormous backpack. Your movements become restricted and uncomfortable. For women, especially those whose pelvic floor muscles may already be a little weaker, this added pressure can be the tipping point that leads to unexpected leaks. Furthermore, straining to have a bowel movement puts immense, repetitive downward pressure on your pelvic floor muscles. This constant bearing down can weaken these crucial support muscles over time, contributing to pelvic organ prolapse and urinary incontinence. It's a double whammy. The constipation directly affects your bladder, and the effort to relieve it weakens the very muscles meant to hold everything in place. This vicious cycle is a significant, yet often unaddressed, contributor to bladder control issues, a secret connection that holds many women captive. Many mistakenly attribute these issues to aging, when often it's a manageable gut health issue. The actionable insight here is to prioritize healthy, regular bowel movements. This means aiming for soft, well-formed stools that are easy to pass, typically once a day or every other day. How do you achieve this? First, fiber, fiber, fiber. Increase your intake of dietary fiber through fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. If needed, a fiber supplement can be beneficial, but always introduce it slowly to avoid bloating. Second, hydration is key. As we discussed, drinking enough water helps keep stools soft and moving through your digestive system. Think of fiber as the broom and water as the lubricant. Both are essential for a clean sweep. Third, movement matters. Regular physical activity helps stimulate bowel movements. Even a daily walk can make a significant difference. Finally, don't ignore the urge. When you feel the need to have a bowel movement, go. Holding it in can lead to harder stools and make constipation worse. And when you do go, ensure proper posture, sitting with your knees higher than your hips. Using a small stool like a squatty potty can significantly ease the passage of stool, reducing strain on your pelvic floor. By addressing constipation, you alleviate direct pressure on your bladder and protect your pelvic floor, taking a huge, often underestimated step towards regaining full bladder control. This holistic approach recognizes the interconnectedness of your body, offering a comprehensive path to freedom. Sandiao's final thoughts. You've made it this far, which tells me you're ready to take back control, to stop living with that quiet dread. We've unmasked 6 common habits that, while seemingly innocent, are actively undermining your bladder health and confidence. From the way you empty your bladder to the sips you take, from the strength of your core to the health of your bowels, every element plays a role in your overall continence. This isn't just about avoiding leaks. It's about reclaiming your freedom, your spontaneity, and your peace of mind. Remember, this isn't a quick fix. It's a journey of mindful habit shifts. Start with one change, something that feels manageable, and build from there. Be patient with your body. It's been working under these old habits for a long time. Celebrate the small victories, because each step forward is a profound reclamation of your independence. Don't let embarrassment or resignation keep you from living fully. Your comfort, your confidence, and your ability to enjoy life without that constant worry. They are absolutely worth fighting for. You deserve to feel secure and empowered in your own body, no matter your age. Ojos. Which habit are you going to start changing first to protect your bladder health? Drop your choice below. Let's inspire each other.